In today's video, I'm going to share with you this great stack of dollar books that I picked up during a sale held by Claremont Comics in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Check it out. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name's Chris, and this is Northgarden Comics. I've been looking forward to sharing these books with you since I bought them. There's about 35 books that I bought, and this was just so much fun to go through the long boxes and find all the books that I found. These are books that came from a store called Clairemont Comics. They're located in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and I'll put links to their information down below for any of you who are in the area and you want to check them out. But for me, that's about a 2-hour drive to get to this store. So I don't get there frequently. In fact, I've only been there a handful of times. But on this particular day, it was well worth the drive because it was part of their month-long anniversary sale where they were selling all of their bulk back issues for just $1 a piece. It's basically, these are all books that were normally priced anywhere from $3 to $6. They did have another section of back issues that had the pricier books in it, and those weren't part of the sale, but definitely the majority of their in-store inventory was these bulk back issues, and there were dozens and dozens of boxes, all nicely alphabetized, everything bagged and boarded, and everything just $1 a piece. And one other cool thing about this sale is that as they sold through books, they were saying that they were going to pull additional inventory from their warehouse to replenish. So that meant if you went multiple times, you could find new things each time and continue to build out a really great haul over the course of the month. Now, unfortunately for me, I was only able to go once, but I did go early in the month. And like I said, I got more than 30 books. So I'm really, really happy with what I got. You know, as I'm looking through the pile here, I've got a bunch of modern things, but things that help me to build out some runs of ongoing titles I'm working on. Got some limited series built out and completed. Got some books that go back to like the 90s, late 80s when I was first getting into comic collecting that have a nice nostalgic feel to them. And then even got a bunch of Bronze Age stuff. So really kind of a nice mix of books here that I brought home from this sale. So let's go ahead and get to it here. Starting off, we've got these 3 books from Image that are in front of you. These are just part of my desire to kind of go back to some of the early Image titles and runs and either start those runs that I never collected at the time or build out some of those runs that I did start but didn't finish. And so on the left, you've got Wildcats #7. That's part of, Jim Lee's work there. He does the cover. I don't know if he does the interior art on #7 or not, but with that issue, I've got like the first 18 or so from the volume, and I think I'm happy now. I think I feel pretty good about what I've got, not looking to really go any further. Now, if you see me find a bunch of Wildcats issues for 25 cents a piece that I don't have, that might be a different story. But for the most part, I think I'm pretty set on Wildcats. That was a 50-issue run. And then the one in the middle, Cyberforce #6, that was created by Mark Silvestri. And that's one that went like 38 issues. I think I've got the first like 12 or 13 at this point. And I still have the rest of that volume on my wish list. But again, we'll kind of see. At some point in each of these titles, the original creator dropped off. Either they stopped writing or stopped doing the pencils. And for me, the pencils is the big thing. That's the big draw for these books. So don't remember where Mark Silvestri stopped being involved with the pencil portion of this, but it may be that I'm content on that volume as well. And then on the right, you've got this other Mark Silvestri creation, codename Strike Force. I really don't know anything about this one. In fact, I just kind of started picking these up over the course of this, attempt to get some of these early Image books. And this was only a 14-issue run. So good chance I'm just going to build this whole thing out. I think I have most of it at this point. When I picked up this particular issue, though, I think I got it just because it's issue 14, which is the final issue in the volume. and it's also a cover by Michael Turner. I think this one had a varying creative roster, both for writing and for pencils, but all of the pencils at that time for early Image days really kind of have a similar vibe, and it's one that I enjoy. So I'll probably just go ahead and complete that volume as well. But that's kicking off our haul there for today. Next up, we're going to see some She-Hulk. Got 3 issues from this particular volume. Oops. This is She-Hulk Volume 2. She-Hulk Volume 1 was written by Dan Slott and went for 12 issues. That was 2004. This is Volume 2. Started off with Dan Slott writing, but then I think it's around issue 22, it shifts over and it becomes Peter David doing the writing, and he finishes out that volume. Both Dan Slott and Peter David have omnibus collected editions featuring their time on She-Hulk, and I know both of those are pretty popular. My historical kind of collecting with She-Hulk was around Sensational She-Hulk, and I've been reading some of her more current things now, but I got jump-started on these earlier this year at a free comic book day sale where I was able to pick up like 12 of the issues from this volume for 25 cents a piece. And so that was the jump start. Now I'm kind of not fully committed to getting the whole thing, but definitely more intrigued at getting more of these issues. And today I got issue 1, just because it's a number 1, which is excellent in itself. This is also a great cover by Greg Horn. Very happy to find that for just $1, and you can see it was originally $5.25. But then the other 2 issues, 31 and 32, I got because they're tie-in issues to the Secret Invasion event story that Marvel did then. And that's an event that I did not collect new. I've pieced that together as back issues, but I finally just read it earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it. And so now I'm trying to go and get some of those tie-in issues of titles that are also interesting to me. So the Mighty Avengers and then She-Hulk is another example. So got 3 more issues down on this volume, and I think this one ran for 38 issues altogether. Here's another short series that I was able to make some really good progress on. This is Exiles Volume 2, which I never really saw before this year. Actually, let's put that, I like that cover, put that right in the center. But this only ran for 6 issues. I found issue 1 earlier this year, just on a fluke. Got it for 50 cents on one of my comic book adventures, and the art style grabbed me. I like the characters that are involved, and it was only 6 issues, so I figured I would try to, hunt the rest of those down. And at this sale, I was able to find 4 of the 5 issues that I need. So at this point now, just need issue 6. Pretty confident I'll find that at some point, but that's a great cover featuring Blink right there on the cover of number 5. And I was first introduced to her character during the Age of Apocalypse. So always fun to pick up another series featuring a character that you like. One issue here from this X-Men limited series called Nation X. Don't know much about it other than this was 2009, 2010. This was around the time where the X-Men moved to the island of Utopia off California, and kind of dives into that story in that period in this limited series. It's an example of one of the uncountable, too many to count, limited series featuring the X-Men that have come out over the years. And so when I'm hunting in the long boxes and I come across a new one that I haven't heard of before, if either the title, the cover art, the creative team, whatever grabs me, I'll go ahead and try to pick those up. It's fun just to try to hunt them down. This was also a story from a period where I was not collecting any X-Men books at this time. I was only reading Transformers. So as I go back, I like to build out more of those issues, both from the ongoing series and then the limited series as well. Next up here, got a couple issues from the current Captain Marvel ongoing series. Didn't start to get into this one with any consistency until just recently. So now I'm trying to go back and piece together the issues that I'm missing. I have a smattering here and there, starting in like the late teens of issues. And so I'm gonna continue to chip away at this as I can find them for cheap. And on this day, I found 2 issues, 35 and 36. Similar story here with Excalibur number 20. This volume wrapped up after 26 issues and then rebooted with a new title called Knights of X. And that too has ended. I think it only went for 5 or 6 issues. I was collecting Excalibur new every month for a while, and then at some point dropped off, scaled back the number of new books I was getting every month, and have been trying to piece this together via, or as back issues. And as I'm recording this, I have everything now. But as of the date of this sale, I don't know if this was the last book I needed. I don't think it was. I think at this point there were still 2 or 3 holes in the 20s that I needed to fill. So that was good progress there to get issue 20 from this volume. Got another kind of shorter X-Men book, Amazing X-Men. This ran for 19 issues in total. Never got any of these new. I would see them occasionally in the back issue bins, and some of the early covers grabbed my attention first. And then I noticed that Jason Aaron started as the writer and Ed McGuinness was doing the pencils. And I think that only went through like the first story arc, and then it really rotated around on writer and artist. But it's a short enough volume. I like the characters and the art seems decent. So I've been working on trying to put this together. And I think at this point, I only need issue 14 to complete this whole series, and then I can finish reading it. I did read the first like story arc, and that's where, Nightcrawler is dead at the time, and then it's the story about him coming back. But one more issue, and then I can complete this one and read the rest of it. Kind of related to the Captain Marvel books, here's Star number 5 of 5. I had gotten issue 1 of this limited series when it first came out, and then didn't get any of the others. But since I started collecting Captain Marvel consistently, I've wanted to go back and piece together some of the kind of related stories. And this is one because Star made her debut in Captain Marvel, the current volume of Captain Marvel, issue 8. So I figured this would be a decent tie-in series to get, and I've gotten them all for $1 a piece or less. And that's a nice cover too, with Star on the cover and then the Black Order in the background. All right, the next 3 books I'm going to show you were not on my wish list, but it's the kind of thing where as you go through the dollar bins, you find a lot more than just what's on your wish list. And there are things that just jump out at you for one reason or another. And because they're so inexpensive, it's very easy to just go ahead and pick those up. And they are Amazing Spider-Man 269, 321, and 388. Essentially, these were all either cover or creator motivations as to why I picked them up. The one on the left, 269, that's just a great Ron Frenz cover featuring the Spider-Man in the black costume and then Firelord. I love that. I love those kind of covers that have that aerial view looking down on the city, and then there's this mid-air fight going on. That's always a cool theme, and Spider-Man covers seem to do that a lot. But that was a great cover by there. Issue 321 in the middle is a Todd McFarlane cover, part of his run. And I'm not actively trying to get the whole Todd McFarlane run on Amazing Spider-Man. I could see myself getting the collected edition in a hardcover format at some point if I really want it, because most of these are not going to be issues you can find in the dollar bins. So when I can find Todd McFarlane, especially from Amazing Spider-Man in the dollar bins. Definitely going to pick that up. So I got that one. And then the one on the right is Amazing Spider-Man 388. This is just a nice gimmicky cover with the metallic foil reflectiveness around the border there. And this is from the Mark Bagley run on Amazing Spider-Man. And the last thing I'll show, I guess they were all priced at $6.25 originally, so really nice to get those for $1 a piece. Here's another one I wasn't looking for, but Todd McFarlane on Spawn number 8, where McFarlane is homaging McFarlane. You can see here, McFarlane after me. But a great homage cover to the first issue of Spider-Man that he did when he was both writing and drawing that book in the 90s. And I absolutely got multiple copies of that when that came out new, but never had Spawn number 8. So just a nice homage cover for $1. Love the character of Thor, so I'm always on the hunt for some older Thor books especially. The only part of this run I'm actively pursuing is the Walt Simonson run. Unfortunately, they didn't have any issues. I don't know if it's because somebody got to them before me or if they were just higher priced and therefore not in the bulk back issues. But they did have this Bronze Age issue, number 228, and I got it. It's in decent condition. And I got it because it's now the lowest number Thor that I have in my collection. So that's always a fun thing when you can, you know, keep working that lowest number in your collection closer and closer to the origin. So that was just a fun grab, but my only Thor comic for the day. The next 3 books here all come from the Avengers first volume. I was not specifically looking for any of these either, and I'm not actively trying to build out the whole Avengers run, but when you see books that are either keys or just great cover art, then I'm still liable to pick them up. And the one on the left here, that's an example. That was a cover buy. That is a minor key. Well, all 3 of these, in fact, are considered minor keys. I think issue 178 is the first appearance of a character called the Manipulator. Didn't get it for that, didn't even know it at the time. I got this because I love the yellow background and I love Beast on the cover there. So cover buy on that one, but it's in nice condition and really happy to have that one. And then 183 is the issue where Miss Marvel joins the Avengers. You can see her here. And 184 is the issue where the Falcon joins the Avengers. So also minor keys, and these were all originally $6.25 a piece. So to get these fun books for $1 a piece, again, great Bronze Age finds for $1. Let's stick with the Bronze Age finds. Here we've got She-Hulk, Savage She-Hulk, number 20. This is a volume. I don't think I'll ever find all of them in the dollar bins. I would like to think I could, but no way I'm finding issue number 1 in a dollar bin, not unless I get really, really lucky. And probably not issue 25, just because the final issues tend to be harder to find as well. But I have been able to find most of the rest of the volume for $1 a piece. So this is just a title, because I like the character, I just love to continue hunting for these and adding to my collection as I can find them for cheap like this. I may at some point just go ahead and get the omnibus edition of this so I could have all of them and read it start to finish. But for now, this is just a fun character that I like to hunt for in the dollar bins, and always exciting when I can add one of these Bronze Age issues to my collection so cheap like that. Couple Spidey issues here. These are from the first adjectiveless volume of Spider-Man, but towards the end of the volume, issues 78 and 80, and these are just progress toward completing the John Romita Jr. run of that volume. And I think I'm close now. I only need like less than a handful of issues to complete that out. So Here we've got one issue from Daredevil Volume 1. This is 247, and this is helping me to complete my Ann Nocenti run of Daredevil. She was the writer on this title for most of the 200s, and so just got this one issue. This is a volume I could probably complete the run faster than I'm actually completing it, but I'm holding out for higher grade copies when I find them. I definitely see this era of Daredevil a lot in the dollar bins, but a lot of times you get copies that look very well read or dirty, like they've never been bagged or boarded before. So I try to hold out for the higher grade copies. So I'm very willing to be patient and take my time on that and build that out with grades of books that, you know, I feel good about, even at just that dollar price. But one more issue chipped away from this volume. All right, now we're coming down to my favorite books that I found at this sale. And I'm sitting here looking at them, trying to decide which ones to do first and which ones to do second. There's 6 books in total, 2 different titles, and I think I gotta go. All right, I'm gonna do these first. So first up, we've got some issues from Witchblade. These were 100% cover buy. I've mentioned several times in my videos that I am working on building out a library of Chris Bachalo's art, whether that be interior art or just cover art. In this case, it's just cover art, but trying to get a lot of his stuff, not everything. But these Witchblade issues are ones that I've been wanting for a very long time. I actually saw 1 or 2 of these, it might have been these 2 here, on a previous visit to Claremont Comics, but they were normal priced at $3.25 a piece, and I was like, that's fine, I'm not going to get them right now. But I did tuck that knowledge away in the back of my brain, knowing that those issues were there, and now here's this sale. I wasn't planning for it at that time, but these were the first books I looked for when I got to the sale, because I wanted to see, are those Witchblade issues I saw with the Chris Bachalo covers in those long boxes? And sure enough, both 106 and 107 were there. I continued to hunt in the box, and I found 108, and then did a little bit more hunting because they weren't all necessarily in order, and then I found 109. So all 4 of these all at one time was a super great find. I was very, very excited, and I was winning right out of the gate there because, like I said, these were the first books that I pulled out of the boxes. I have since learned that there's one other issue that he did. Actually, I think I found out about it maybe even during the sale, because I may have looked it up in CLZ and just checked to make sure I got all the ones that he did. I think he did a cover in like the 80s range. They did not have that one, so I still have one more to hunt for, but nothing but excitement over finding all 4 of these at one time and for just $1 a piece, because I never ever see these in the wild. So that was a great double win to find them and to get them for so cheap. All right, and last but certainly not least, probably 2 of, if not my 2 favorite finds of the day. Here they are: Brute Force number 3 and number 4. Not keys of any kind, not valuable in any way, but as far as nostalgia, sentimentality, the joy factor, these are the winners for me. These represent really the time in my life in comics when I first was really getting into comic books, late 80s, early 90s. I was buying anything and everything I could, especially a number 1. I was hooked on number 1s all day long. And so I got issue 1 when it came out. I got issue 2 when it came out. For whatever reason, I never got issues 3 or 4, and have always wanted to be able to go back and to fill that out. And I never see these issues in the wild at all, in any shape and at any price. So I was super happy to not only find both the issues that I needed, but to know that they were just $1 a piece. And so now I've got this complete 4-part limited series. And how 90s is it, where you've got cybernetically enhanced animals who are rising up to protect the environment. So that speaks to the time period of, you know, all the gimmicky things that they were trying to pump out. But I loved this when it came out, and I am super excited to finally be able to complete this limited series. And it's written by Simon Furman of Transformers fame. So didn't at the time pay attention to that, but that's a name I now know and know well. So looking forward to giving this one a read and see if it strikes all of that 90s nostalgic goodness through and through. But a great haul. And as I said in the beginning, I've really been looking forward to sharing these things with you. So hopefully some of these books struck a chord with you and some of the things that you either have in your collection or that you're hunting for. And yeah, hopefully just to contribute a little bit to your own joy in your own collecting hobby. All right, that's going to do it for me. And that's going to wrap up this Dollar Bin back issue haul of all the books that I picked up at Claremont Comics Anniversary Sale. But what about you? How's it been going for you recently in your own comic book adventures? Let me know down below. Now, if you're not quite ready for the YouTube fun to stop, I have hand-selected a couple videos here for you to check out. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.